Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Riverside County Board Brief as we give you a brief look at what took place during today's Riverside County Board of Supervisors meeting. My name is Pep Fernandez, and leading off on this program, our dear friend Shane Reichardt, Public Information Officer for the Emergency Management Department. And Shane, we want to talk about the county's emergency operation plan. What exactly, for folks out there watching, what is that? Why do they need to know about this?
Well, really what it is it's the playbook that the county operates on when we have an emergency or disaster. So by having it in place before something happens, we already know who's going to be responsible for different activities, and it makes it a lot faster for us to mobilize and ramp up when we have something big happening.
Obviously, something big happening. You could say maybe we're still dealing with it. Is COVID? Obviously, what did we learn from COVID? What are some of the things maybe with this new amendment or changes, revisions to the operation plan? What do we learn from COVID?
So COVID really changed a lot of things as far as trying to think outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
This was something that, for those of us in emergency management, that we studied, we learned about, but it was always one of those things that, we're going to teach you about this, but it's not really something that you're going to have to worry about because it doesn't happen very often. And so when it came about, it tested a few things. Public health was a lead agency on this.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times when we're talking about fires and floods and other things, it changed a little bit as far as who makes decisions and how do we do that. And so the emergency operations plan really does specify who's in there. That was what we go to when COVID first happened. That was the plan that we pulled out. And then we just made tweaks to it as the event continued. And now this update is where we take those things that we've learned throughout the process and update our plan to formalize what we've learned.
Okay, so the plan, Shane. How often do you guys revisit the plan and try to make changes to it?
It's on a 5-year cycle. Okay. But if we learn something, we can implement changes immediately. We document that, and then when it comes time to formally add our notes to it, we revise that plan and submit it for board approval, and that's what happened today.
So obviously a lot of this stuff is internally for the county, but the end of the line, the end result would be how it benefits the constituents, right? Our friends and neighbors across Riverside County.
Everything we do is for our residents and to make sure that as quickly as possible we deal with whatever emergencies come up and resolve it as efficiently as possible, and really to get people back to normal as quickly as possible.
And finally, when we say emergency, we're talking COVID, it could be a flash flood. We're talking about a gamut of things, right?
It could be pretty much anything that is above and beyond what is normal. So, house fire, your fire department comes out, they deal with that. But when it gets to be a major incident, major fires, major floods, earthquakes, even terrorism, cyber terrorism, things that impact big groups of people, that's where the emergency operations plan really comes into play.
All right, very good. I feel a little more assured, knowing that this operation plan is coming together and being revised. Shane, always good to see you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
That's Shane Reichardt, the PIO for the Emergency Management Department here on the board brief. Now let's transition to a subject that we've had before here at the Board of Supervisors meeting. We're talking about the Oasis Mobile Home Park in Thermal. This has been an ongoing situation that the county has been addressing and putting a lot of attention to. Let's take a look at some video from earlier today. Thermal is in District 4, so that is under Supervisor V. Manuel Perez, and he was talking with Bruce Barton, the Director of the Emergency Management Department, along with Michael Walsh. He is a Deputy Director from Housing and Workforce Solutions. What they're doing right now is trying to provide the folks at the mobile home park in Thermal with food and water and shelter as well. They've already moved 40 families out into better living conditions at Mountain View Estates. So here is Bruce Barton, again, Michael Walsh from Housing and Workforce Solutions, as well as Supervisor Perez, talking about what they are doing right now to help those folks out there in Thermal.
Specifically, the supply of water, supply of food, and this is mostly we're supporting the non-government operations Fine Food Bank. Those great folks once again have stepped up, as we've always seen them do, and the folks from TODEC that are actually doing the giveaway. Starting Wednesday, the county will be taking over more of the water supply operation as far as getting the delivery there. We will be delivering water. TODEC will continue to provide the support. We'll continue to support them and the ongoing mission.
We have had relocated 40 families out of the park. There's 30 into Mountain View Estates, another county-funded operation. We have 30 more vacant units that are there. Close to 83% of residents want to relocate. But the question comes from like, I will relocate if, because each families have different income levels, different household statuses that make each. What we're looking at now is bringing on someone to serve as a point person to basically case manage like all of the variety of different issues of making sure they're getting connected at the immediate levels, but having a better understanding of what the individual needs of each household.
You work hard to move folks, to relocate folks, and then maybe a week or 2 weeks later, someone else moves in. So, you know, this is where we have to really stress upon the BIA to engage, but we may have to, and we had this discussion earlier, Juan, we might have to figure out what type of legal action we can take on, although this is on tribal land, and it's going to be difficult. But that's a reality that I have over there.
And again, that was Supervisor Perez, this mobile home park out in Thermal, which is District 4. And finally, have you heard about the European Grapevine Moth? We're going to tell you about it. In fact, let's take a look at some pictures of what we are talking about. This courtesy of our friend Ruben Arroyo. He's the commissioner for our Ag Commissioner, Ruben Arroyo. Today, the board approved an agreement with the State Department of Food and Agriculture to provide resources for county agricultural workers to deploy traps that will attract and contain an invasive species known as the European grapevine moth. This is important because agriculture production in Riverside County is estimated at $4 billion a year to the local and regional economy, and grape production alone is a major contributor. That's about 10% there. This annual program ensures we can detect these moths early and make appropriate measures to ensure that the continued production of our grapes grown locally right here in Riverside County can continue. So again, the board approved that. So keep your eyes out for the European grapevine moth, but know that the county is working behind the scenes to make sure our grapes continue to grow successfully. All right, big shout out to Shane Reichardt for joining us here talking about the county's emergency operation plan. And thank you guys for joining us. The board will actually be dark for 3 weeks in a row. So we'll see you at the end of the month in August, I think August 30th to be exact, with another edition of the Riverside County Board Brief. Until then, my name is Pep Fernandez, and we'll see you next time.